G'day guys, I'm Tarek, one of the founders of Fitwell Education. I've got the amazing Dan Henderson here to present on a crucial topic, the 5 keys to running a successful fitness business. Dan knows about that all too well, having run several successful businesses. He was my former business partner and we're still great friends and do a lot of good work together. Dan's been in the industry for such a long time. He'll tell you more about who he is, what he does, and what he can do for you. So without further ado, Dan, welcome to this webinar.
Thank you so much, Tarek, and thank you to everyone on here watching live, and thank you to those watching on replay as well. Always a privilege, and I'm always humbled for the opportunity to present and share. So thank you so much. I'll keep my background really quick because I just want to dive in. There's actually a lot I want to cover in a really short amount of time. So as Tarek politely said it, I'm actually an industry dinosaur. Have been in it, over 15 years now. I've had the great pleasure of doing many things. So I've had 2 gyms. I still own a gym. I was one of the co-founders of FDI with Tarek. And I now get to spend a vast majority of my days just helping people grow amazing, impactful businesses. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And I'm really excited to do so. So I see Neil is from Katoomba. We got Carl from Philippines. Andrew, would love to know where you're from as well. And then if you just want to put in the chat, what kind of business do you run? What kind of fitness business do you run? Because really the principles that I'm going to teach will apply across a broad number of different business models in different areas, but it would be great just for a little bit of context as well. So I'm going to share my screen whilst you're populating the chat. Neil, PT, hopefully boot camps. Awesome, mate. So PT, I guess it must get pretty cold if you're doing boot camps in Katoomba sometimes, and at the moment, pretty wet. All right, so what else do we have? Martial arts and fitness in New York. Awesome. Excellent. Well, let's dive into it because as I said, I want to just share as much as I can and give you guys some really great practical information. So this is called the 5 keys to business success. Really, it was inspired by this model called the 5 1s. It was created by a guy called Clay Collins, and he is the founder of Lead Pages. And essentially he said, you got to get the 5 1s. You've got to have 1 target market, 1 offer, 1 acquisition system, 1 conversion system for $1 million. And that's a model that has helped me enormously. And so what I'm doing is I'm kind of sharing a version of that model, my own version of that model. And what I'm going to be covering is it all starts with you. So 1 business model, 1 acquisition system, 1 conversion system, and then how to create leverage with that and scale with that. So they're going to be the 5 key areas. It's going to be fairly broad. And obviously, like we dive into intimate detail in every one of these within our program itself. But I'm really confident that everyone will walk away with some really tangible information to help them no matter where you are in your fitness journey. So let's dive in. It all starts with you, okay? So right now, what is the vision that you have? And the vision is twofold, and they need to be very congruent and aligned. What is the vision that you have for your own personal life? And then what is the vision that you have for your business? Because if you don't have a crystal clear vision, or what some would say, Cameron Herold would say, a vivid vision, if you do not have a vivid vision, then really we don't know what we're doing and why we're doing it. And the great businesses are much more than just about money. They're much more than just having a ton of members. They actually want to leave a deep, long-lasting legacy. So the first thing I'd really ask you, and you can put a Y or an N, and it's okay because I wasn't clear on my vision in my new business until really probably the weekend. Do you have a clear vision for your business? Do you know exactly what you want to accomplish? And do you know what that looks like? So just put a Y or an N in the chat. Yes or no. Do you have a clear vision? And then this vision needs to be so closely aligned for what you want in life. All right. Because really, like, your business is just a vehicle for helping you accomplish a bigger vision and for you to accomplish significant personal goals. All right. So thank you, Neil. Yes, awesome. I'd love to hear that vision. So if you don't mind, put it in. I'd love to see that vision. I often find them, I often find them very, very inspiring. So I'd love to see that. Second is, you got to ask yourself, a lot of people say they want to grow a really successful business, when in fact they just want a job. Like they just, they don't want to be answerable to somebody else. They want the autonomy. They want the creativity of just kind of being in charge. But they really have a job, because if they were to stop working, if they were to go on holidays, if they were to get sick, then a majority of the income and the impact would stop at that point in time. And so I think it's a clear mistake that a lot of people have. They think they have a business, when in fact they have a job. So what would you like? And neither is right or wrong. But what would you like? Would you like a business or a job? And so the definition for me is, a business will operate without you. All right. It will be profitable. It will be impactful, and it will work seamlessly without you. So what do you want? Do you want a business or do you want a job? Neil, thank you so much. So PT boot camps for 50-year-old men, and really helping out people with chronic disease. Love that, mate. Thank you so much for sharing. Number 3 is, the mere fact that you're here tells me that you are coachable. But as I said, I've been an industry dinosaur. I've spoken on some of the biggest stages all around the world. And what I've got to observe is what makes some people more successful than others when it comes to business and this industry. And I can really put it under one word, and that is coachable. Carol Dweck talks about the fixed versus growth mindset. The most successful coaches I know have a growth mindset. They are coachable. They understand that there is, lots and lots to learn. And so they dedicate themselves to making mistakes, learning as much as they can, learning from others that have already walked the path. And so you have to be coachable. If you're on here saying, I know everything, I absolutely, there's nothing that you can teach me, then unfortunately, it's going to be a very short game for you. Number 4 is stress capacity. Business has been my greatest teacher in life. And so one of the things, again, one of the real hallmarks of successful business owners is that they can actually navigate and manage stress better. All right. Your capacity in business really is a direct correlation for how you manage stress. And so a lot of the bigger business owners, they still have problems. They've actually got bigger problems, in fact. But their ability to navigate that is done so with a lot of resilience and a lot of grit. And so you've really got to work on your stress capacity if you want to be successful in business. So you've got to have a clear vision. You got to want a business. You got to want a business. You got to be coachable. You got to have stress capacity. And then I believe 2 things. Number 1, you have to work really, really hard. All right. I'm not a believer in the laptop lifestyle. Even Tarek, who lives in the beautiful Thailand beaches, he still really, really works really, really hard. All right. He's got an idyllic background, but that doesn't mean that he's just sitting there working an hour a day. All right. So you've got to work really hard, but you've also got to work really smart. And so one of the biggest things that I've always done in business is I've identified people that have already walked the path before me. All right. What can I learn from? It's much cheaper for me to learn from their mistakes than it is for me to make my own. Time is the scarcest commodity in the world. And I want to make sure that I leverage absolutely every minute of it without having to do something twice and without having to do it in an inefficient manner. So the first key of success is you, and you need to work smart. You need to work hard. You need to develop the capacity to manage stress with resilience and grit. You need to be coachable. You need to want to run a business because it's very, very different. It's a completely different mindset to having a job. And you need to have a clear vision, both personally and professionally. All right. Next is the business model itself. So I'm really, really big on this. This is probably like my zone of genius, is I dive into a lot of businesses, and the individual themselves, they have a great work ethic. They may have even a great vision, but they have a terrible business model, and therefore they're working harder than they need to be. There's lots of leakages. It's very inefficient, and they're not maximizing impact or profitability. So a few things on the business model. Number one, don't sell products or services. Sell solutions to problems, all right? One of the key things that we teach in our coaching programs is the development and design of a signature system. This is a proprietary program and process that moves someone from hell to heaven. It takes them from problem to promise. And so if you can conceptualize that and sell that, then you no longer are a commodity in a crowded marketplace. What has happened in fitness is most people would differentiate based on their modality that they teach, how much they charge, the type of, like space they have. And so they just become a commodity. They become the same as everybody else. So you need to sell a solution to a very specific market that solves a very specific problem. When you do that, you become a market of one. You're not in a sea of sameness. And that enables you to A, charge more, and B, get people committed for a longer period of time. All right. So that's the first thing with your business model. Because most people, what they'll do is they'll go, I really like functional training. I'm going to open a functional training space, or I'm going to, do mobile PT with functional training, or a functional training boot camp. But then everybody else, not everybody else, but many other people are doing exactly the same thing. And then you look at how much to charge, and you're like, well, Johnny down the road's doing 40 and Kevin up the road's doing 60. So I'll charge 50. And you're right smack bang in the middle of what we call a red ocean. We need you to create a blue ocean. And to do so, you have a proprietary process and solution that nobody else does. So that's the first thing with your business model. Second is, I believe, continuity. All right. Reoccurring income is the eighth wonder of the world. I really, really do. Every single person should be on a membership. Doesn't matter if they're doing one-on-one, nutrition coaching, martial arts. Every single member should be on a membership model. All right. And a lot of people will object to this initially. And then when we implement it, they're like, oh my God, that was the best thing I've ever done in business and in life. All right. Because if you're selling session to session, pack to pack, or you're just selling sessions in general, then it's very, very contingent then on you to resell or redeliver every single time. However, if we sell a solution, all right, let's just call it, like one of my clients has this great solution called the fittest 40-year-old you know project, right? It's a 26-week program. It's $100 a week. All right. So he's selling a solution for them to be the fittest 40-year-old you know. And we have that on reoccurring income. All right. He sleeps really well at night, knowing that he's just getting and building up this reoccurring income. And every single client that he signs is a minimum of $2,600. All right. And so if, for whatever reason, you might have a quiet week on sales, you've still got great cash flow, because cash flow is oxygen in a business. So, even in my business, every single person in both my businesses, I own a gym, I own a coaching business, they are on a membership model, and it helps me sleep like a baby at night. Third thing, when it comes to your business model, is you need people to commit for a long period of time. And one of the biggest false beliefs that I hear is, Dan, you can't have people commit for a long period of time. People want flexibility. They don't want to be locked into contracts. They don't want to pay by a direct debit. All of that stuff is crap. Because if you have a look, they've probably got a phone on direct debit. They probably have their Netflix on direct debit. They probably have a lease or a mortgage that they are paying on a regular basis under a contract. So they are used to it. Why are we any different? And so what I often do is we implement both a flexi and commit pricing model. So for example, Neil, you've got a boot camp. We would say you get unlimited access to the sessions within the boot camp. We've got a flexi model where you can cancel at any given point in time with 30 days notice in writing. That's going to be $60 a week. However, based on the goals that you told me and based on the outcomes that you want to achieve, that's going to take us a minimum of 26 weeks. So I recommend our commit option, and you're going to save some money in the process because it's only $55 a week. Which one would suit you best? All right. So now we're selling solutions. We've got a membership model where we got flexi and commit pricing. Biggest mistake I also see with a lot of business owners, and I talked about it just a minute ago, is they charge the same as what everybody else is. All right. They operate from what we call scarcity and not abundance. All right. And as a result of them operating from scarcity, they charge too little. And so now you're in this constant hamster wheel of having to constantly sell and do the crazy amounts of sessions and everything else because you're actually not charging what you're worth. And a beautiful thing happens when you charge what you're worth. Number one, you start attracting better clients. I don't know about you, but I love having amazing clients. Secondly, when people pay, they pay attention. All right. And so now we've got people paying more. So they're actually more emotionally invested in the journey as well. All right. So charging more. All right. Don't be scared to charge more than, what you would consider market price, because many great things will happen to you as a result. So from the business model, 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got Neil on here. We have got Carl on here. We've got Andrew on here. I would love to just put it in the chat. Which one do you need to work on within your business? All right. Out of the business model on what I've covered, which one do you need to work on within your business? Now, this isn't just theory, just so you're aware. I didn't say it at the intro, but I own a gym right now, but I have actually got the great pleasure of coaching close to 700 fitness business owners. So they're in various programs of ours. And this is what we've observed as best practice. We see it day in, day out with a very, very, very large, base. So this is not out of a textbook or anything else. This is what is working within the market right here, right now. So just put it in the chat. Which one of those 4 do you need to work on? Whilst you're populating the chat. Here we go. All right, Neil. Neil's my number 1. You are the best and most engaged person. Thank you, Neil. Reoccurring payments. Awesome, mate. Awesome. And Carl, number 4. All right, charge what you're worth. Love that. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you both. All right. Next, we talk about our acquisition system. All right. Your business needs to generate leads on a continual basis. All right. Leads are the lifeblood of a business. And you need to identify what is the 1, 2, and 3 main ways that you're going to generate those leads. All right. So we teach 6 flows of marketing. I'll cover each one of these. And what I recommend is if you want to get to about 100 clients, you need 3 of these working concurrently. All right. If you want to go to 150 clients, you need 4. And if you want to go beyond that, then you need really all 6. So let me cover. Number 1 is organic marketing. I invite you to friend request me after this presentation. I'd love to absolutely be connected because what I do for my business is organic marketing. Organic marketing is primarily content-based marketing. So I put out a podcast, I put out lots of different videos, I do lots of streams, I do lots of webinars, I do lots of articles. I deliver a ton of value out in the marketplace. All right. As a result of that, that attracts and draws really great clients to me. So organic marketing is content-based marketing, and then it's using content to have conversations with your prospects. All right. And so there's a real art to the type of content, the frequency of the content, and how you take that content to create a conversation. And if you're listening to this live or on replay, this is a writer-downer, is the person that has the most amount of conversations wins. Conversions happen in conversations. And so you want to be inviting people into conversations. There's a lot more to that, but I'm just giving you a very, very surface level understanding of the 6 flows. Second is paid traffic. And really, when we talk about paid traffic, we talk about Google ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, and then directories such as OneFlare and Bark. All right. So if you want to grow fast, if you want a volume of leads, a huge volume of leads, and you want them quickly, then you're going to use paid marketing. Paid marketing is absolutely phenomenal in terms of volume of leads. The quality of the lead, however, is not as good as organic marketing. Organic marketing is on the other side. It doesn't cost you any money, but it costs you a lot of time. You're going to get a lot less volume, but you're going to get more quality. So you've got to weigh those up. You might end up doing both, right? And that's certainly where we've got to in our business now, where we were primarily organic and now we've added paid. All right. So lots of time, not much money, organic marketing. Not much time, more money, paid traffic. All right. Simplistically, very, very simplistically. Ideally, have both of them working together. Third one is referrals. We know how good referrals are for business, but do you have a referral system? Do you have something that you implement into your business that you know will generate a consistent flow of referrals from your clientele? And I'm going to give you a couple of parts of that referral system right here, right now. Very simply, there is an acronym when it comes to referrals. It is EAR. Number one, you have to earn the referral. You have to do a stellar job, get great results, deliver an unforgettable experience. The second, and this is where most people fall short, is they have to ask for it. Right? A lot of people just expect, if I do an amazing job, they will refer. No. You've got to ask for it. People are busy. All right. So you need to ask for it. And I'm going to talk about the ask in a moment. Then what you do is you need to recognize it. All right. So you should shout it out to your other clients. You should write them a thank you card, and you should, publicly thank them. And then you need to reward them. What gets rewarded gets repeated. So if you've got some kind of referral reward scheme, that is ideal. Now, in terms of the ask, I'm going to go through three main things that you need to do. Number one, you need to systemize the ask. So ideally, at point of sale, because when you look at it, excitement is always highest when someone joins. So why not ask them when they're at that peak of excitement? Hey, Tarek, I'm super excited to help you get stronger, get fitter, get leaner. Do you know anyone else that would like to share the journey with you? Do you have any colleagues, friends, family members that would also like to get stronger, healthier, and fitter with you? All right. So systemize the ask. Point of sale. Anytime you're doing assessments is the next time. Hey, Tarek, you've got absolutely phenomenal results. You've crushed the last 12 weeks. Do you have any friends, family members, or colleagues that would also like to get results like you have gotten? Right. So you've got to systemize it, number one. Number two, you need to look for triggers. If anyone says how good they're feeling, I can't believe I'm wearing this tight pair of skinny jeans. I can't believe I'm this strong. I can't believe how much energy I have. Then that is a trigger for you to ask. Hey, I really appreciate, how well you're feeling right now. You're on fire. I'd love to train more people like you. My business is very dependent on word of mouth and referrals. Do you have anyone like yourself that would also like to train? All right. And then the third part is you run some kind of triggering event. So you might have a bring a friend week. You might do a tag and win. You might have a charity day. You run you might have a referral competition or prize. So it makes it easy for them to refer. All right, so that's referrals. Tarek says often the hardest thing for trainers, coaches to grasp is the feedback side of it. Absolutely. The fourth is events. I love events. So you should be running regular events within your business to attract more people. What are these events? They might be workshops. They might be seminars. They might be charity boot camps. They might be bring a friends. They might be networking events. They might be bringing in local sporting teams. You might do super Saturdays where you bring in coffee carts and DJs. But running a regular cooking classes, a regular series of events, all right, to make it easy for people just to bring. But also what it does is it builds community, it builds culture, it builds connection. So it means people are going to stay with you for a long time, but it makes it easy for them to bring people. And the next is list building. So you need to be building your database. all the time. Your email database, your text message database, your social media database. You need to be growing it. And then every single month we run what's called a war plan. This is a series of communications that goes out to our prospects and our ex-members that prompts them and inspires them to take action and to join our fitness business. And then the last one is like JVs, sponsorships, partnerships, networking. So you've got, different groups like BNI, Chamber of Commerce. You've got JVs. You may do these. They work particularly well with sporting teams, as do sponsorships. And then you've got other allied health practitioners as well. So they're your 6 marketing flows. Which flow are you going to incorporate into your business? Or are you going to focus on more within your business? Just put it in the chat. Is it going to be organic marketing? Is it going to be paid traffic? Is it going to be referrals, events, list building, and then absolutely like leveraging that list? Or is it going to be partnerships, sponsorships, JVs? Just put it in the chat. Would love to see. So Neil, events, awesome. Carl, events as well. And Andrew, partnerships. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. So opportunities for everyone. So that is our acquisition system. And really what you want to do, like you've all put one in there, I want you to become the very best in your area in that space. So, if you're going to run events, run them consistently and run them well. Announce them in your local community groups and just be known as that person that just gives a ton of value through these events, makes it easy to come along and just delivers an incredible experience. Andrew said partnerships. Awesome. So identify, like, is it going to be local sporting teams? Is it going to be local networking? And then just make sure that the partnership itself has a win-win outcome. Like I love local sponsorships with sporting teams where what we do is we go, we'll absolutely sponsor your sporting team. How we're going to do it though, is we're going to do it in a way that's win-win. We're going to run a 28-day challenge. You're going to put it out to your database or the members or the parents or the families. We're going to run it for $200 and we're going to split the profits with you, $100 each way. So if 50 people join up from your list, you get $2,500, I get $2,500, and we both mutually win. All right. So you want to approach it from a win-win perspective. Next one is our conversion system. Okay. So there's really like 3 main ways to convert clients, I believe. It's either you convert them over the phone, you do it via face-to-face, or you do it in chat, which is becoming increasingly popular and something that you certainly need to learn. So first and foremost, which one of these is going to be the one that you're going to convert clients from convert prospects? From prospect to client, are you going to go do it over the phone? So I do most of my sales for my coaching business over the phone, or i.e. Zoom. Is it going to be face-to-face? You're bringing them into your place of business, or are you going to be doing it in the chat itself? So which one of these 3 are you going to do? All right, that's the first thing you need to decide. You need a script. All right. Essentially, what you're doing is you're moving someone from, again, the problem into the promise, but for them to uncover that this is the right solution for them, you've got to ask the right questions in the right order, in the right way. So essentially what you want to do is you want to ask contextual-based questions first and foremost, understand where they're at within their journey, what kind of pain they have, what the cost of that pain is. You want to understand where they want to get to. So what is the dream? What is the aspiration? How will they feel when they accomplish and achieve it? You want to overcome any obstacles from getting from here to here, and then you want to deliver the solution itself. All right, that's, again, very simplistic. We've got loads of detail on that. A lot of people will inquire about your services and they're just busy. So they may leave, a website inquiry. They might leave a Facebook inquiry. And you can't expect for them to just reply after you've followed them up once. 80% of prospects will sign up between the 6th and 12th contact. So you need to be contacting people on a regular basis. All right. There are 2 main principles that will determine whether you're successful in conversions. Number 1 is recency. The quicker you can contact someone after they leave an inquiry or raise their hand to say they're interested, the more likely you are to be successful. So ideally within 5 minutes. And I'll tell you a little story. Tarek and I used to work in an office in Sydney together when we had FDI. And we would get a website lead. It would come through to our email. And we would literally call it as soon as it landed. We would both look at each other. Whoever wasn't in the middle of a task would go and call that lead. Often they were still like just on our website whilst we were calling that lead. And because of that, our chances of success were that much better because they were there in the moment. They were looking at us. They were doing all the investigation. They had a need and we attended to it straight away. That is recency. The second side is what I talked about is frequency. Is most sales are made between the 8th and 12th contact. So are you calling your leads multiple times a day for the first 4 days? Are you texting them? Are you emailing them? So you need to contact them many times, many ways to be successful. And you need a system for that. So that is acquisition, no, that's not acquisition. That's the conversion system. All right. Last thing I want to talk about is something that's really, really close to my heart, and that is leverage. I love creating leverage in business. I have a family of 3. I love to travel. I love to train. And so what I want is I want to make sure that I have freedom to do that within my business. All right. Freedom is not me not working much, but freedom is to work when I want to work, the type of work I want to do, and with the people I want to work with. All right. That for me is the ideal. All right. That is real freedom. To accomplish freedom, I need to accomplish leverage. And there are 4 main ways that you can accomplish leverage in your business. And you can actually utilize these together in combination with one another. All right. So number 1 is team. One of the easiest and most, it is the most established way of creating leverage in your business is to bring on team members. One of the biggest mistakes I see, really unfortunately, is I see people realize this too late. They do way too many things on their own. They're therefore burnt out. They're working long hours. They're not growing at the speed that they need to grow. And so having a team is amazing. Next week, I'm in Hayman Island. I'm going to be having a wonderful time with my 3 kids, my partner, but I've got great team members in both businesses to ensure that nothing gets missed. And so in a fitness business, I believe the first team member you need to hire is actually someone to help from an administrative side of things. Then it's a coach. Most people would go the other way around. All right. So right now, if you don't have someone to help you from an administrative side of things, definitely look at doing so. I also am a strong believer of getting a bookkeeper. If you've got a physical premises, a cleaner on board very, very early on in the piece. Because I can guarantee that's not in anyone's zone of genius that's listening right now. And so that will free you up to do more of the high yielding work. And I believe there's 5 core functions that you need to focus on in your business for it to grow. Number 1 is creative thinking. All right. You need white space and thinking time so you can innovate, all right, and solve problems. Number 2 is leading. You need to lead yourself before you can lead others and then lead the team in the vision that we talked about earlier on. Number 3 is managing, which is the day-to-day, which is the creation of systems, managing the numbers, the meetings, and performance. Number 4 is business development, which is the acquisition and conversion that we've talked about already. All right. And then number 5 is the actual delivery. You still coach because it lights you up inside, and at heart, you probably are a coach, and it still is great for connections within the business itself, but it comes in at number 5. What is not on that list is chasing up payments, doing bank reconciliations, cleaning, following up suspension and cancellation emails, and all of the other things that go along with running a business. So you want to delegate that as quickly as you can to free up as much time as you can to the big 5. All right. You want a vast majority of your working hours dedicated to the big 5, and you'll see some significant growth. To do so, you have to build the team. To build the team, you have to be really good at delegation. All right, so that's the first one. Second, we've talked about this. One of the greatest ways of creating leverage is through your business model. You know, really early on, and I delivered a presentation for Tarek not long ago on this. I delivered a presentation on semi-private personal training. I'm a massive believer in it because it creates leverage. Now, instead of servicing one person, I can service 5 people. Instead of only making, $100 an hour, I can make $300 an hour. And that gives me a lot more opportunities to reinvest back in the business and build the team. It allows me to service more people and make better margins. You may have a hybrid business model where you have a component of face-to-face and the other parts of delivery are done in an online fashion. All right. So having a leverage business model is absolutely key. Number 3 is capital, probably a little less relevant for our audience today. But if you bring on capital, it's fantastic because it can accelerate the process. All right. It can allow you to build infrastructure and team, in a really quick manner and just accelerate growth. And then number 4 is technology. And when I talk about technology, that is social media. So how, again, like we talked about organic marketing before, you can get your content in many places at the same time. It's also about automation. So, you've got automated software doing a lot of the lead follow-up, a lot of the lead nurturing for you, even doing the sales for you. It's about leveraging things like technology, like your trainerizers of the world, your payment systems. So again, lots gets done at scale without you necessarily involved in the day-to-day. So they're the 4 main ways that you can create leverage. So just to kind of recap, I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. We're just going to do a little quick recap, and then I'd love to hear some highlights from people as well in terms of what's been the biggest aha, what's been the biggest takeaway. But we covered the 5 keys to building a successful business. I did it from a very macro level. I didn't dive into the weeds or the minutia, but number 1 is you. So the first key is you. All right. You need to get your mindset right because whether you think you can or you can't, you're both right. Number 2 is your business model. Number 3 is your acquisition system. Number 4 is your conversion system. And number 5 is you must create leverage. They are the 5 keys to building a successful business. What success is completely subjective. All right. Your definition of success will be different to mine, but I believe it encompasses 3 things. Number 1, I believe first and foremost, a successful business is an impactful business. All right. It leaves the world in a better place. All right. There's some kind of legacy and there's a lot of problem solving. Number 2, I believe there's an element of freedom. And we talked about what freedom means and how I define that. And number 3, I believe it's a profitable business. That is what success is. Those 3 variants will be subjective to different people, but it will at least have an element of all 3. And these are the 5 ways that you can accomplish and achieve that. Thank you so much. Tarek.
Terrific. Powerhouse of a presentation as always. I think one of the things that struck me early on is that, the big conundrum, as it were, is that charging what you're worth, right? And, you've probably come across that many times, right? Like people say, my demographics isn't ideal to charge, this or that. So maybe you want to speak a little bit on that, to do with value, no doubt. So that would be good to get some of your thoughts.
Yeah, it's never about price. It's all about value. So, price, it's a lot of people will use excuses like, damn, you don't know my demographic and the competitor's only charging this and that. That actually is somewhat irrelevant. All right. Not completely irrelevant, but it is somewhat irrelevant because what people are really coming to you for is they're coming to you because they have a need. They have a problem. And if you can help create confidence that you are the solution to that problem, then price becomes less relevant. All right. Because what they want is value and what they want is confidence in knowing that you can resolve that. So I think it's about getting very, very clear on what your product is or what your solution is, I should say. And then it's, you know, a lot of the time you can't just have some people like they'll come in and they'll be charging $50 an hour. And I know they should be charging, you know, $150 an hour, but we have to develop the confidence, right? We have to develop the trust. And so we incrementally increase it over a period of time. And once they see that people are happily paying that, then that obviously feeds it, and then it snowballs.
Yeah, you referenced Carol Dweck's Mindset. It's a brilliant book earlier on, and I think it is really to do with that, isn't it? Inculcating those habits and really shifting from, you know, poor dad, rich dad kind of mentality.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, I dropped a couple of books in there. Mindset by Carol Dweck is a big one. I shared Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold is another really big one when it comes to mindset as well. They are definitely two of the best.
Excellent, mate. Well, thank you very much. And how can these guys who are here live, Neil, Carl, and Andrew, follow you?
Look, I'm massive on social media, so I love connecting with people. For me, this whole industry is about connecting with people. So I would love for you just to reach out, and I'm most active on Facebook. So reach out to me on Facebook, just say, hey, I watched the webinar. I'd love to hear just like, what was a lesson that you had, or what was an insight, or what was something that you just found helpful? I'd love to continue the conversation. So I'll just quickly share my screen just so you can see who I am on social media. So I'm actually under Daniel, not Dan. That's what I look like. That's my banner. So I would love to absolutely connect with you. And I give a ton of free stuff away. So if you want some really good resources, which is much more tactical than what I described today or what I went through today, then I would love to share that with you. I've probably got about 30, 40 masterclasses that are all about 30 to 60 minutes in length on all different areas, and they're absolutely free. So I'd love to share those with you as well. Now,
of course, on that note, you do have quite an amazing masterclass that you deliver with Fitwell Education. So do you want to just touch on that a little bit for those who want to know more about how they can access you on the Fitwell platform?
Yeah, I had an amazing time delivering content for Fitwell. We cover a lot of different things in Fitwell. So we cover some incredible things from a productivity perspective, from a leadership perspective, from marketing to sales. It's very, very well-rounded, and the team's done an amazing job of just putting together a really good quality product on there. So I totally recommend that you jump on that.
Yeah, big time. And that's a 7-day free trial. So you can access Dan and up to now almost 30 other presenters in movement, wellness, and business and leadership, which is the stream that Dan falls under, as it were. So if you want to pursue that, Dan and many other great presenters, you get that 7-day free trial. So give that a crack, fitwelleducation.com. Dan, thanks again, you know, for your energy, passion. It never wanes. And we do appreciate you, mate.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I really appreciate everyone on here. Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you, and looking forward to continuing the conversation. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate. All the best.